up there. I want to hear a big round of applause first of all for Flipside. Give it up for Flipside. A big round of applause also for Red Bull. Please give them a big round of applause for coming here supporting us. Please, I want to hear a big round of applause for Red Bull as well. By the way, that screen over there was requested by Narcy. This is live footage from the space. So this is really incredible. Okay, yeah. We'll explain why later. My name is Big Haas. I'm a human being that believes in good, authentic art. I'm so honored to be doing this with someone who inspired me. I'll just give you a 2 or 3 minute talk. I know you don't want to hear me talk. You want to hear this guy talk. But I just want to say in 2008, him, Low-Key, Shadia Mansour, Omar Effendim inspired me to launch a blog called Revolt because their lyrics elevated my mind. And it was something, I was just a kid in Saudi Arabia, one of the most conservative places in the world. I got hit with their music, but with a mixtape from a guy that came from Canada. And I was like, why don't we have this music playing on the radio? And it just inspired me to launch Revolt Blog, to launch an online radio station. I think Anghami here knows, he actually recorded my first radio, that radio show. So I launched an online radio. I pushed everything, but then the beauty of this is now, 10 years later, I'm sitting here on the couch with someone who inspired me, and I'm just want to say, man, I'm so proud of you. One more round of applause for Narcy. So yeah, that was my small intro. This is a private session. This is something really amazing. He'll be releasing an incredible album. I heard it. You guys are gonna be, wow. No, seriously, they'll know. They know. Yeah, so what we're going to do, this is a very chilled out vibe right here. We're going to be going through the tracks. I'm going to give the mic to Narcy to talk about the album, and we welcome some Q&As. Let's have this as interactive as possible. One more note that's very important. The guys from Shabab International has put together an amazing t-shirt, especially for this event. The t-shirt is 150 dirhams. I want to hear a big round of applause for Shabab. Come on, make some noise. Chef Mohaz and the team. Yeah, so without further ado, Dubai, I want to hear a big round of applause for Narcy. Come on, louder. Come on, you guys. So proud of you, man, and this is amazing. So first of all, tell us about, like Spacetime and, like the fact that you have so many collaborations on it. Just talk to us about the overview of the album, and then we'll hear the tracks.
Sure. So first, thank you all for coming out tonight. I was just out in Al Ain with Moha. We were doing some space shit. Just came back, so shout out to Al Ain, no doubt. It's like Abu Dhabi in the 80s. So yeah, I mean, I've always had solo records that have been very solo-centric. A lot of my records have been very much about my own perspective, but more about politics and how I saw the world, right? So even the name The Narcissist, at the time I chose it to be a reflection of both, because I think I'm the illest, but also because I think the world is, a place filled with narcissists, right? So it was always a reflection of that. So when I changed my name to just what people call me, which is Narcy, it kind of changed my perspective on how to make music, right? And the last record I did, World War Free, was sort of an ode to new life, right? Like an ode to my son. And a new chapter in the music that I was making. So when and that album took me 4 years to make. I moved to Dubai, all about it. I moved out here, try to live out here. I realized I couldn't live out here, so I went back to Canada, and there was a lot of moving and shifting for it to happen. But I work specifically with one producer who's Sandhill. No, make some noise for Sandhill. So me and Nawar, Sandhill's real name's Nawar, I grew up with him since I was like 8, right? So he's really like the sonic equivalent of what I write. Like if ever I go to him, I'm like, Doug, I need this kind of kick and snare, and he'll just come with the right thing, right? He always knows how to translate what I want to do. I wanted to make a quick album. I didn't want to take too much time with it. Took 9 months total, yeah. But really, I wrote and recorded and mixed the album in 30 days. So, and on the first day of that 30 days, I hit up everybody that I wanted on the record. And I sent them like a little blurb. I was like, this is what the record's about. and here's the beat I want you on. And you know, they all came through. Like I didn't think people would come through. People never come through, but they came through like that as I was mixing, and I would write my verse after I got their piece. So I didn't think about making a collaborative album, but it became that, and which was great because it was a reflection of the stuff that I was reading while writing. I wanted to make an album. I hate saying it's my most personal album, bro, but like I wanted to make an album about now, right? Like what my life is like now. And I was watching this the whole time. That's why I wanted you to play it while we were in here. I had this on the screen playing in the studio that we had rented for 30 days, just watching space live as like what was going on outside of Earth, right? And I know it sounds crazy, but it was about going to that macro view of the world and that micro view of our life. So really that connection, what is the connection between that? So I started reading about quantum physics and space-time. The concept of space-time is, you know, on Earth when we experience, like we're all experiencing this together right now, but everybody's vantage point, age, what brought them to here. You know, Basel drove out from Abu Dhabi, we came from Al Ain, everybody came from a different place. So they're coming from a different experience of time. Yeah, and your understanding of the moment is always different. Everybody's understanding of truth is always different. So the concept of space-time is that really life isn't, if you experience time outside of Earth, outside the 24-hour clock that we've created, your life is really an event. And you're just passing through that event. There's no specific time. So really, it's like the theory of maktub or whatever. It's like your life is destined to be this event, and you fit in that, right? But the concept of the album ended up being about like put out into the universe what you want in your life, which is something that I started exercising more and more around my art and my work and teaching and everything. It was like, what do I want out of this? What is my intention with this, right? So the album starts with time and it ends with space. And the opening track is pretty straightforward, so yeah. If you want to get into that one.
Definitely, but you know, like sound-wise, this is a bit different than what you've put out before. Can you just tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll play the first track?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't something that I did on purpose, right? I was just pushing Nawar. I was like, yo, we got to get out of our comfort zone. We got 30 days. And he's like, no, we don't. I was like, yes, we do. We have 30 days. I don't want to work on this any longer. So, you know, I reached out to Keitra, who's a fellow Montreal. Keitra Nadi's a fellow Montrealer. Lunis, who's a fellow Montrealer. And then I was like, I want Nawar to collaborate with some of the people that we've come across while making music, right? So a lot of the collaborations were to push him musically as well. So the first track we did was with Mashru' Layla, and he sent them this thing that he made called Baghdad 3000. It's just like a instrumental bed. Sounds like space, right? So I was like, just send them that shit. Let's see what they come back. And they came back with something completely different with it in it, you know? And then he added the drums on top, and then it made that first song. So we'll get into the sound as we go, but that's the opening joint.
All right.
Let's do it. So this is Time, produced by Mashru' Layla and Nawar Sandhill. Shout out Flipside. Shout out Shadi. Make some noise for Shadi, y'all.
Yes, yes. Let me hear a big round of applause for that. Wow. This is called Time, featuring Mashru' Layla. The voice that we hear at the end is your grandfather. Yeah. How important is that, like, for you to, like, have him on this?
Well, you know, my Jiddu Jamal, Allah yarhamah, he passed away this year here in Dubai, and he was somebody that I lived a lot of my life with. They immigrated to Canada with me, and well, not with me, but with my parents, and he was around. He was the grandfather that I had around all the time with me, right? And I was lucky to have him into my 30s, and he got to meet my son, but he died over a course of a couple of years. He was slowly withering away, right? So as I started recording him every time I came out here, and I had these voice notes on my phone that I listened to after I recorded this song, because this song is really about my father and my mother, and the mistakes I made growing up, and what I realized when I had my children, and it's about generation, right? So Jiddu, he would repeat certain things to me in his last couple of years, like over and over. And this was something that he would keep saying to me, like, as your parents get old, don't ever let gullilhum off, Don't let them feel like they're exhausting you, because they worked for you, so you work for them, So I thought it was very important I still haven't decided if I'm gonna put it on the album like that. But I felt it nice to give him like an album credit. I don't know, after he was gone, Yeah.
A round of applause for
Thank you, guys.
Tell us about the second track. It's.
I'm not gonna say much about the second track. You can just play it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it called? Yemenade?
Yeah. You just play part of it. Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
I'll tell you. I wanted to make. If I was gonna, like make it very concise about the problem that I see in the world. You see a lot of kids in Canada right now that are on lean still, and like, sipping liquids that are making them really dull and forget about the world around them. And this is really about like the whole world on a certain type of drink that's making them forget what they're doing, So yeah, man, this is what it is.
All right. Yeah, I think this track is very self-explanatory, and yeah. Play the first verse.
And the chord.
All right. You guys are having a good time, man. Come on, make some noise for yourself. Come on, you guys. Up. Just give it away. Yeah. Yes, yes. Part of the reason, like I said, I'll just keep saying these pointers throughout. Like I said, I'm a kid that grew up in Saudi Arabia. We had only one radio station in Saudi, one, and his work, low key, Omar Effendim, Shadia's, has inspired me to actually go on a journey. And then 3 years later, after 2008, I launched Saudi's first FM hip hop radio show, which was yes, oh no man, that was amazing. And actually, one of the very few people I hosted was Yasin. I remember when I hosted it on the show, and people in Saudi were still not used to the fact that they thought that hip hop is only like booty shaking and just bad words. And so it was a very, very, just want to say thank you in front of these amazing souls for you, man, because seriously, I think I would be a different person if I didn't get stumbled on your music, because I was fed whatever people were feeding me. Radio, which doesn't exist, and all the tak-taka music, Habibi music, and it didn't reflect. It's cool sometimes. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes you're right, And this is the thing right now. After meeting Chuck D, he told me that you gotta fight for the balance in the music, man. Stop saying old like that. And you can see me right now supporting people like the Freaks, who does Arabic trap, new school, all that stuff. I'm there,
Yeah, I think that you have to find a balance, right? Like you could say something and still make people shake their booties,
Yeah, I think Yemenade is there, What do you want to talk about now, Narcy? The third one?
I think I want to play this next one because it's, the approach I also wanted to, I'm not going to play the whole album, but we'll play like a majority of these records. But this next one is with an artist called Lido Pimienta, who in the last year in Canada, she's Colombian. And in the last year in Canada, she made a lot of noise because what she does at her shows is like, all the brown people come to the front. Brown and black people come to the front. And then she goes, all the brown and black women come to the front. So she really places the power dynamic in the room, how she's a really powerful girl, woman. And she's super busy. She blew up. She won the Polaris. She was on the We Are the Hallucination album with me on the Tribe Called Red album. So I hit her up. I was like, yo, Lido, I need you on the album because she's fire. Like, I need fire on the record, right? And she came through and she wrote a whole song. I gave her a 4-minute beat and she sent me back a 4-minute song. I was like, where am I going to fit on this song? So I let her lead with this song. Some of these songs on the album, I'm not on the song. I'm just, my voice is there, but I'm not really on the record, Except in this, I dropped a 16. And my 16 is really a translation of everything that she said in the song in Spanish, so.
All right. It's called Location. Let's go.
Find yourself.
Hey. If you have any questions, just, scream it out. Like, let this be as... anyone have any questions right now? Raise your hand. Just, let me know and we'll fit that in. Yeah, yes, who that? Yeah, shoot.
Go ahead, speak out loud, brother.
What would that one thing be that you would tell as a musician to another musician amongst all the other things? What would that one thing be?
Shit.
And what?
That's a deep one. What, as a musician, what would you tell another musician? One thing.
Chef Moha, ladies and gentlemen, make money. I mean, yeah, make money, but don't expect too much from people around you. You know, you got to work real hard. You got to put things out into the universe. It takes a very long time for it to come back to you. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you miss it because you're too busy thinking, why didn't it come back to you? So just take your time, man. Take your space time. Don't try to rush anything, you know? And look, you know, rocking out in stadiums and doing big shows and being super famous is one thing, but realize what you want out of your music. And as soon as you put that out into your own like bubble, then you'll get that. You know, just be real in what you want. Because sometimes, something my cousin said to me, I don't know if it was him or his brother who said it to me, but he was like, you know, sometimes when you get a no in your life, maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's for your child or your mother or your father, right? Maybe there's a karmic exchange for that no that you're not aware of. So don't take no's as doors closing in your face. See them as there's a positive to everything, right? So that's what I would say. That was very long, but you know.
No, that was good. I also, yeah. I want to shout out all the artists in the building. I can't name. We have a lot of amazing artists, seriously, from, you know. So shout out to you guys. You know you are. Put your hands together for those. Narcy, before we go to the next track, I just want to ask you, like, how important is for an artist also to diversify, like, his music? You know, I've seen you, like, there's a sort of diversity in the music. Is that important for every artist? Well, you stay...
No, I mean, it depends on the art. Depends, again, what you want out of your music. I'm Gemini, right? I grew up with... My sister's in the house. Shout out to my sister. But, you know, I grew up, she was listening to, like, Smashing Pumpkins and shit and, like, you know, really depressing, like, rock music. And I grew up... And the Wu-Tang Clan, who she introduced me to, so she's really the reason why I'm rapping. But... You know, that diversity in music that was in my household really went into my music, right? And obviously also working with Nawar, who's somebody that's very diverse musically as well, it also pushed me in different directions, right? But I also don't like boxes. I'm not trying to be the... Every time someone was like, you're the political rapper, I tried to do something different. Every album is like, I'm just trying to be a little bit more me, so, because me is all over the place, right? So.
Cool. Tell us about the next track we're playing, which is Animal.
So Animal is, I mean, the lyrics are pretty self-explanatory, but Nawad gave me this beat and I wrote it in like 15 minutes. I didn't even really write it. It was like, na 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 na. I just heard it and we just recorded it. It's a bit of like a childish theme, but yeah, it's about people treating you like shit. And it's like, why you treat me like animal, man? So it's based on Eddie Murphy, based on Jay-Z's track, Girls, 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 but it's really like, why are you treating me like animal? I mean, we're all perfect, but, you know, we're not perfect, right? So.
Dope. Okay, let's go for that. Animal.
No, no, gully animal. Gully animal.
Anyway, I got so much love for you guys. Wallah, thank you so much. Give yourself another round of applause. Thank you so much for making it.
So listen,
Narcy, tell me.
I think what we'll do is we'll play like one more joint. Is that okay if we play one more?
Two
more joints? Okay, 3 more joints.
Wait.
Are you guys having a good time? No, I want to hear it. Come on, make some noise. The power of the people. That's what they want.
For real. But then we'll play the album and just hang out and I'll talk. And, you know, I want to hang out with people. So.
All right. True question, yalla.
Well, you mentioned about how we're all here.
Shout out to my brother from Oman right here. Yeah.
I actually know him, by the way.
Oh, I know you, bro.
Yeah, we hung out together.
We're all here for a reason.
Yeah.
And obviously, we're experiencing the same situation with different experiences. And we talked about here, we got conversations about, you know, how the water is depleting from the world. South Africa is going to run out of water. The Nile is drying up. Oman has a dead zone, not enough that we killed the Vici, but we have the dead zone now. All we speak here from the songs and the tracks that we've got is different experiences, different Narcy that we're getting here. And you mentioned that it's your evolution. What is the legacy that Narcy wants to leave the universe?
Oh wow.
That's a deep one right there, but give me like a short answer version of that.
I don't work with like legacy. I don't see myself as that big of a person. I think when you're in the moment, just like be it. Don't think about the bigger picture all the time. But I just wanna, when I started making music, there was nobody from our culture making the music that we were making. So that was our mission. Let's start making this music. And then now to see, a lot of people in this room call me Ammu Narcy because, I'm older now. But to see that that's already started and that there's like a huge group of people from our communities making music and really penetrating through the music industry and on every level of making music, but also film. And I just want to add to that canon of work. Really, that's all I want to do is to add to that large story that we're all trying to tell because our story has been told for so long, right? So just to add my personal experience from the perspective that I've experienced being an Arab in the world or being a human being in the world, and just adding it to our bigger body of work. We all have a legacy to put together, I think. Yeah.
Nice. Actually, can I add something to that? So a common friend of mine, ours, El Cid Fawzi. I know, but give him a big round of applause. El Cid, the studio's right there. So when he came to Saudi, he drew on a big mural, an old Bedouin saying that says, إن الإنسان الذي لا أثر له لا حياة له. A human being with no impact or, has no trace, which I thought is very important because it doesn't really matter how big or small, but I think it's your duty if you have a voice to leave that trace. Okay. Narcy, like I said, there's a lot of amazing artists over here and people who support artists, a lot of people in the community. What are your thoughts about, the Dubai scene, if there's,
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to look at it as scene, but I'm going to say, the individuals here are very inspirational. I come out to Dubai very often. I come here 2-3 times a year. And I've watched it grow and had the pleasure of being a part of it as well. When I first started coming out here, it was just Danny, right? Yeah. And Danny was just banging on the drums at the crib. And then it grew, and I watched artists come out, and people move here, and people like Aham, people like Mo, like Majid, like Shibani, everybody that's out here making music now. Abri was a longtime collaborator of mine. I love that dude. He's one of the OGs, the legends. He should be worldwide right now. Robin, Layla's here as well. So to see it all grow so organically, which is what I think all of us felt was missing. A lot of it was oh, come do the show, Beats on the Beach, I'll give you 10 dirham, come rock and shit. And it's something that I think everybody in this room has experienced, that bookers don't want to pay you the right fee, and if they give you a slot to perform at the opening of a show, they won't give you your whole back line. And then you always feel like a second-degree artist, and the focus is always on artists coming from outside. But so many people have their eyes on the region, let alone Dubai, so to see everybody now coming together, I see there's a real community. When I first moved here, it was just beef. Everybody was at each other's neck. And I was like, what are you guys doing? This was pre-Twitter and shit. I was like, why are you guys beefing right now, right? So much so that it made me record that Real Arab Money song. I just caught the fever while I was out here. So it's really amazing to see everybody collaborating and crossing paths, and I think in the next 3 to 4 years it's really gonna boom out of here. I think there's gonna be artists out of here that yeah, man.
Rockets just like this go to space. Before we play this last track, I just want to say that your music has affected a lot. I mean, you've inspired new people that you even don't know. They've hit me up and said, this guy has inspired me to do 1, 2, 3. People in Saudi Arabia, bro, they started to, because there's a certain perception about Saudi, let's face it. And again, your music has inspired. Does that give you a response? Do you feel kind of pressured or no? How does that?
I don't feel pressure, but I've always felt the responsibility. Because I've seen shit. at clubs and backstage and shows that there's been moments where I'm there and I'm like, yo, if my mom was here right now, this shit is so embarrassing right now, right? So I was like, I have a responsibility to not only my community, but to myself, to my family, to my friends, and then to like the next generation. Like if I'm gonna use this platform, I'm not gonna abuse it.
So the next track we're playing is, Space, and it features one of the legends as well, OGs, Yasmin Hamdan. Tell us about that collab, because Yasmin Hamdan, this is like, tell us about that.
Well, I initially, I was in Toronto, and I recorded a lot of this album in Toronto gay, and there was a gay guy. So there's a studio out there that a friend of mine just gave me the keys to. And I met this kid, David Ariza, who recorded a lot of my vocals for the album. And I don't remember what was going on. There was a full moon that night. And we walked out. I was just bugging out. And when I walked out, it was freezing. It was like minus 25. We walked out, smoked a cigarette. And you look up at the sky, and it's like the moon. And then there was like this huge... I don't know what it was, like a cloud, or like it was something that was surrounding the moon, or it was a cloud over it that just made it reflect really big, like a halo, yeah. So I was like, yo, let's go back in the studio right now. This guy's like, yo, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm done right now. So I didn't write this. I just went in, and I've never used auto-tune, so I was like, I'm just gonna fuck around and try to sing a song. And it became Space. So when Yasmin came to Montreal, I was like, yeah, Yasmin, like, I'd love to work with you. And she was like, sure, let's go to the studio. I was like, no, I'll book the studio. So we got a studio that night. She had a show. She was in town for 1 day. So it was the night before her show. And we had dinner, me, her, and Nawar. And then we went to the studio. And I played her I was like, I'm not going to tell you what joint I want you. I'll just play. And she heard Space. And she was like, this is the one I want to be on. And then we took that and recorded a choir and strings and like a bunch of live instruments. And so this song is 2 songs in one, and it's the ending of the album. So my song is about how I always wanted to go to space. I always wanted to be an astronaut, and like I'm so sick of Earth. I feel like if we go to space, there's something new to be discovered. And she responded to me like an alien, right? She didn't really use words. So her song is the end of the album, It's like the outro to the record, which loops into the song with Mashru' Layla. If you play the album as a loop, it's all the same keys and the same notes or whatever. And the thing that we added into there also was the sounds of the planets. So the opening of the song is off a vinyl that they sent out into space in the 70s with all the greetings on Earth. And that was the Arabic greeting that they sent out there, which Moha put on the T-shirt. My mom wrote that. She wrote it out for me, and they printed it on the T-shirt. And the sounds of the planets, bro, if you go and listen, I know this sounds crazy, but if you go on YouTube and look up sounds of the planets, they recorded them through satellites, just the sound waves, and converted them into audio. And it's the wildest shit. It sounds like when babies are in stomachs and they do ultrasound, but like crazy shit. So we layered all the planet sounds on this. And so yeah, man, that's what it is. So that's the end of that, yeah. I urge you to close your eyes and go to space.
Okay. So this is, we're going to play part of the track. It's called Space and features Yasmin Hamdan.
تحياتنا للأصدقاء في النجوم يا ليت يجمعنا الزمان.
So this whole song started with this sound. And this sound is my son's heartbeat when he was inside my wife's belly, So the tempo of the song is like life, So yeah, man, Nawar thinks I'm crazy. After this, he was like, yo, you're fucking crazy, bro. Thank you all for coming out tonight, man. I really appreciate you guys. Make sure you support Shabab International. Get a shirt. Support the boys.
That was amazing. One more round of applause for Narcy, ladies and gentlemen, please. By the way, as this song is going across, something really crazy happened. This is a live footage from NASA. Like, this is live from YouTube. So it's 24 live. You just YouTube footage live NASA. This is there. So part of the song when it flipped, the guy flipped the camera, and it's just and I was just looking at Narcy. This is space time. He said, "This is space time." But tell us some more. Why did you want us to have this footage, Anghami?
As I said, I was playing this in the studio while I was recording the album. So for me, like, this is simultaneous. Makes you realize how small we are. Like, just look at how small things are and how insignificant the little problems we have in our life are, and focus on the bigger picture of the world and the planet. So yeah, I just think it's beautiful, man.
Well, this is it, ladies and gentlemen, but I just want to say thank you to everybody that came. I also have just a couple of messages. Support the brothers at Shabab. This is the shirt. The shirt is 150 dirhams. It's available in all sizes except my size, obviously. You got my size? Oh, dope. I'm joking. I'm getting that. Also on the way out, there's a small box. We are here at Flipside, ladies and gentlemen. Give a big round of applause for Flipside. Please make some noise. Sure.
I just want to say, man, come to Flipside, support, buy records from here. You could download your music, but support Shadi. He put his life into this place, and I've seen it start from a record collection to this. So come out to Flipside, come hang out here, come buy records, support the boy. We're about to put out some music together too. So yeah.
There's a donation box at the at the door. Please feel free to be generous about that. Anyone has any questions? Go ahead. Yeah.
So, what part does representing your culture, representing your identity as a power plays in music? Is it important in art when you are putting something out to the public? Do you feel like you have to play that part?
I did.
Shout out to Lubna, right? From Apple. Give her a big round of applause. All right.
Yes and no. Like, I started off very much like, yo, I'm Arab, man. Like, Public Enemy, but for our people, But it's slowly, like, I realized, like, I grew up in Canada. Like, I'm so many different things. So it became a part of the larger story. Definitely, it's very present in some of the keys and the sounds and the music. But I believe in subtlety now. Like, we can't, and I learned that from this guy and a bunch of people that are around me. Like, it's there. It's there in my presence, so it's gonna carry with me. I don't believe in flags. I don't believe in waving flags anymore. A lot of us don't have nations left, right? So just be for the people, man, and then it'll come. Yeah. So Rhythm Nation. Shout out Janet Jackson.
All right. Well, we're gonna, we're just gonna hang around a little bit. I'm gonna play that track. Also, one of my favorite tracks is called "I Know," features Z the People. This is an incredible track, man. I love that track. We played it at the Apple Talk. This is an incredible track. I wish you guys all the best. We're gonna hang out for like 15, 20 minutes. One more round of applause for this man. Follow him, Narcy. Yo, Dubai, you can sound louder than this. Come on, 1, 2, 3, make some noise, Dubai. And a big round of applause for Red Bull and Flipside. This is Z the People.
Loco, hit him with numerous shots like Popo. Do the black and brown folk in slow-mo on the internet. Couldn't buy